Up, y'all. Doing another one today. I last mowed on Tuesday. Mowing again today. Weather's cooled down, so that's a good thing. I last checked. It gets dark roughly around 7:30 now, so I've got to start way earlier. All right, I'm gonna go get the mower, get this going. I last checked. It gets dark roughly 7:30, so I've got to start. All right, I'm gonna go get the mower, get this going. We had some rain yesterday morning, approximately 0.4 inches. Helped out the grass grow a little bit. No more 90-degree temperatures. We've been just mid 80s today. I think 83, 84 was our highest. So, heading into the fall season. Double check the chat real quick before I start. See if anybody was on here. All right, yeah. Let's see if you guys on here. Welcome. I'm gonna go ahead and get started. Alright, let me show you all how much clippings I took off just from this section. What's up, J-Bear? I don't know if y'all can see this. About a quarter full of the grass catcher. What's up, Geo Mark? I like the way the Toro cuts, even though it's almost idle. Yeah, that's one good thing about these greens mowers is that they're able to cut at low speeds. I mean, they're designed to handle different RPMs. So, yeah, you can cut at a slow speed just fine. Actually, you need to do one more stripe over here. We'll come back. I might come back over here and mow a little bit more. Appreciate it, Jackie Bear. Yeah, I try my best. Even though temperatures are cooling down, I'm still going at it because the grass is still growing. You can see the clippings I just took off over here in this section. So, yeah, I think we're gonna keep on going until possibly till December. I mean, if I recall from last year, I think around Thanksgiving time is when things had started slowing down. So yeah, I could possibly be mowing through that or even further along. So we'll just have to wait and see how the weather pans out. All right, I'm gonna go back over there, and I missed the spot, so I'm gonna go mow a little bit more over there. Let me move over here. You want to see the Zoysia strips, Steel Mark? Yeah, I could show it to you. The only problem is I think I'm going to lose connectivity to my network. because I'm pretty close to the house right now, so it's connected. If I start walking over to the zoysia, we might lose connection, and you might not be even, might not be able to see it on the stream. So what I could probably do is maybe I'll do like a short or something like that on my YouTube shorts, and maybe you can see it that way. I mean, I can try to zoom in. Let me see. It's really hard to tell from this far. Like you see, so you see my neighbor's St. Augustine right there. It's taller than my grass, and right next to it, that's where the zoysia is. So like from this angle, it almost blends in with the Bermuda, which is the whole goal, right? So from a distance, that's how I want everything to look. I just want everything to look like it's just grass and no bare spots. So I think I've accomplished that somewhat this year, and of course next season it should be much better. All right, I'm gonna go ahead and get this center section started. show you how much grass. About half now. I think I'm gonna have to go get the tractor. Oops. Yeah, the camera moved over here. Yeah, so I got about halfway filled now. Give me just a second. I'm gonna go get the tractor so I can dump this in my front loader. Let's see, GeoMark says we missed the rain with the last front, so I'm supplemental watering the hot spots. But I water would be out of mowing control right now. Oh, so you got a McLean and a catalyst? I didn't know that. That's nice. You're using the catalyst for verticutting? The turf rake on the catalyst and the wider drive rollers leave better stripes. Yeah, I could see that. That's cool, man. Yeah, this is my first year verticutting, so obviously I verticut with the modified Toro Greenmaster. So I would say, yeah, I mean it helped me get more pronounced stripes. I'm still working on. I might do a different pattern next season. I'm thinking about it, but I'm not sure yet. I just really wanted to get that out there and try out the machine before the season had ended. And I think we've recovered pretty well. Let me move the tractor out of the way because you won't be able to see me mow. You're cutting out 1 inch. Okay. Cool. All right, let's get this going again. So sometimes I go over my pattern more than once because I see like little imperfections. So I kind of look at it before I'm done. Like I feel like I could probably go one more pass this way and come up this one. I'd say I haven't really perfected it, I guess, where I could just do it at one shot. I tend to like do it one more time. All right. It's kind of hard to see too with the way the sun is shining at the angle, so it's hard to tell. It's actually hard to see the stripes right now. What's something that's funny is that as I was going down there toward the street and coming back, I saw a grub worm sticking out, and I ran over it. So I might have to apply some insecticide soon. I still haven't got myself a Celiprin because, you know, I have, like, for the past 3 years I haven't really had a grub problem, so I don't really want to buy something that is not necessary. That's just kind of like my my practice. I mean, not everybody's the same. I kind of like to do I kind of like to buy the product based on reaction. So if I see something that's wrong with the lawn, then I'll buy the product in order to cure it. But, you know, if I'm not having that problem, you know, I feel like I don't need to spend the money to buy the product. But in this case, you know, I mean, maybe I do have a few grub worms out there versus like some others other people's lawns who have like a ton of grubs and they've got a big problem. Yes, apply a Celiprin twice a year, every year, you know, so you can prevent that problem happening. But for me, I haven't really had that issue yet. So until that happens, you know, I probably won't buy a Celiprin. But I do have a product that I use, which is a Dominion 2L. It applies with a flood jet tip, and it has to be into the soil. I applied that in April, and I may apply it again maybe sometime this weekend because, you know, I saw a grub worm. But, you know, it begs questions like, do I spray it on the whole lawn or just that area? You know, if I want to be safe, yeah, I'll spray it in the whole lawn, and, you know, I do have enough product to do so. So that's probably what I'll end up doing. But you know, I've never really had damage from grubs, like a grub infestation, so which is the reason why I haven't bought a Celiprin. But, you know, that time may come soon. So, and that'll change my routine, and I'll end up getting the product. Let's see the chat. Joe Mark, I verticut last spring after core aerated. Verticut took care of the cores. Yeah, that'll do that for you. Like my double wide stripes, appreciate it. Yeah, I try. I might try to do a different pattern next year. We'll see. But it's hard to beat double wide stripes. I mean, that's kind of like the go-to. That's kind of what everybody wants. All right, get this side of the lawn going. Empty out the grass catcher here. Probably chopped off that grub worm's head as I was going over it. And usually, like, you don't see a grub worm sticking out of your lawn on the top surface. They're usually like in the soil, so you actually have to dig for it. So, you know, it's a bit odd that I see one sticking out. That's not the common case. What the heck is this? It's like a spider web or something. It's like a spider went off and just spewed a bunch of webs everywhere. Can't get it off my glove now. There's the grass clippings in this area, this spot here. That's what I double passed. About done already. Did say it gets dark at 7:30 now, so that's why I started earlier. But looks like I want to get done before 7:30. Mark says, I have to prevent grubs because we have wild hogs in our suburban neighborhood and they will tear up a lawn to get a grub. Yeah, that's a perfect reason to apply your insecticide every year. Do you cut every other or every third day? So I've been cutting about 3 days a week. So I'll cut on Tuesday evening, and I'll cut on Friday and Sunday evening. That's kind of been my routine. Sometimes I'll cut Thursday rather than Friday, like if I have something going on Friday evening. So I'll do a Thursday. Like tonight, I'm doing a Thursday. So tomorrow evening, I won't cut. And then depending on my schedule, I'll cut either Saturday or Sunday evening. But most of the time I always cut every Tuesday evening. So that's one set schedule for sure that I do every week. And once it slows down, I probably cut like a Tuesday evening and maybe like a Thursday or Friday evening, and maybe nothing on the weekend. Just depends. I mean, I still have PGR. I laid my PGR app last week. I want to say on Thursday, or was it Friday? I can't remember now. It was sometime last week that I applied my PGR. So obviously this week goes by, and then I'll be applying it again next week, given, we still have like temperatures in the 80s. And I mean, you can see I'm still taking grass off even with PGR apply. I put it down at 0.3 ounces per thousand, and I do it every other week. So yeah, I'm still cutting. Let me move the tractor out of the way. Let me see if I can get you a shot on the zoysia over there, Mark. It's a bit harder to see, it's further away. But you can see, let me zoom in here. So that used to be bare, like what I'm showing you right now. And I filled that in with sod there.